Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzetta Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's wonderful, just flat out wonderful to have you along for the ride. Speaking of rides, if you're going into the city tomorrow and you plan on taking SEPTA, make sure you have that key card. Buy it today, Thursday, ahead of the parade. They won't sell them day of, apparently. So just make sure if you're going to use public transportation, you get that pass today before the day is out. I can't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow is what it's all about for us. Like we enjoy watching the team win. That's awesome. That's what it's all about. But the championship trophy, the Lombardi trophy, being there on the stage together as a team, being in the locker room together, smoking cigars, drinking ginormous bottles of Dom Perignon, the other big Dom. Doing all that, the media circuit is Jalen Hurts has been on The View, The Today Show, CBS This Morning, Fallon, and I think I'm missing one. He definitely did the media tour. Saquon Barkley went on Howard Stern, for crying out loud. Oh, my goodness. Like, all that's wonderful, but that's for the players. The parade is for us. The parade is where we get to hoist the Lombardi trophy, figuratively speaking. Like, that's what we do all this for. As I've told you guys before, I've explained to people who are not sports fans at all. I don't get why you guys, like, bottom line is you're excited about somebody else's success. What is so great about it for us as a fan base, as a city? Well, I'll tell you, I don't know if there ever be a time if we all come together as a city happy, where millions of people get together and they're all excited and happy and brought together by the one common goal of the football team that represents our city, or the sports team that represents our city. It shows us off to the world in the best possible way. We are champions in the city of Philadelphia. And being at a parade is the celebration of all that. And I don't know, when's the last time we all got together? Oh, the last parade. That's the last time we all got together. And what was the last time before that? Oh, the parade before that. That was the last time we got together. So this is what we root for. And when the Phillies won in 08, that was the first one of my life, as I've mentioned many times. And when they won, I realized this is what it really is all about. Like, it's great to sit there and yell at the TV, go to a game and cheer and all that stuff. But what it's really for is to bring everyone together. And I know it's not everyone. Not everyone's a sports fan, blah, blah, blah. But it's the closest we'll get to it. It's the closest we'll get to it. And I can't wait for tomorrow. Bringing Little Toots down there. We have an area where we can kind of have a home base, so we're lucky in that regard. Otherwise, I don't know if I'd bring her. But we're doing it. We're bringing her down, and I'm going to shoot as much content as possible for you guys. I plan on putting together a couple of different packages for you guys. I will tell you next week, maybe Friday, and maybe if something breaks, I'll be doing a show. But we tape Greatest Sports Legends Then and Now all next week. So I'll be off from Farzy Show all week next week to tape this TV show. We tape once, maybe twice a year. So they're very long days. And I know I've been starting the show late rather consistently for a long time now, but it would be bonkers to do the show and tape Greatest Sports Legends Then and Now. In case you don't know, Greatest Sports Legends Then and Now is a TV show I've been working on for about the last 4 years. It's a nationally syndicated show. Greg Murphy's on the show of the Phillies. Greg's been on this show a couple of times. Greg's the best. Wes Hall's awesome out of DC. He's is it Monument Sports in DC? It's basically the old NBC Sports Washington that got sold to another media company, and Wes anchors all the Wizards coverage for them and other coverage as well. And Wes is the co-host. I play a role of like a producer on the show. We tape for a week. So it's going to be a busy day, busy week, that is. So no Farzy show next week. Something breaks, we'll try to put something together. But I will have parade coverage for you. That much I promise. I'm hoping to have it over the weekend. If not, by the end of tomorrow. Tomorrow might just be a very, 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 very long day. Other than that public service announcement for the show, last night I watched the Sixers. I did the Sixers postcast, and I DVR'd the Super Bowl edition, or mic'd up Super Bowl edition on the NFL Network. Mic'd up throughout the entire season. has been awesome. It's just a fantastic show. It really lets you see all the goings on behind the scenes. It lets you be a fly on the wall or a fly on the bench, listening to Nick Sirianni, listening to Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni, listening to Jalen Hurts, listening to Saquon Barkley, listening to everybody. The only person you don't see is Vic Fangio. He's up there in the booth. You really don't see him too much. Excuse me. But I couldn't wait to watch this. And there are little things that got dropped in the last couple of days that were mic'd up teasers. One of them is Zach Bond teasing that he's going to get an interception. I'm going to get mine. I'm going to get mine. And then he gets his. And I couldn't wait for the hour-long show. And I watched it all. I took notes. There will be spoilers. I thought about, like, do I put in the title of the show today, there's going to be spoilers for Super Bowl 59 mic'd up? Like, you guys saw it. You know who won. Spoiler, But you don't know what happened on the sidelines. So if you haven't watched it yet and you just want to be completely surprised, spoiler alerts, I'm going to be talking about it because it was fantastic. Like, I was thinking about this. Like, you had to wait if you were, I don't know, a child of like the 70s, and NFL films in the 60s and all that stuff, and NFL films. You had to wait long for that stuff to come out. This was, what, Wednesday? This is Wednesday. This is Wednesday of the same week as the Super Bowl, and you're getting all this footage from the sidelines and all this intel, and I found it absolutely fascinating. Yeah, but this stuff goes on. You just don't know to what degree it goes on. I narrowed it down to 5 of the top moments with a couple honorable mentions, I'll say. And then I'll say that the one thing I really learned from watching this hour-long episode of Mic'd Up. And it was something that's not shocking to me, but I will say I'm a little surprised. And it's a good thing. Something else we'll get into today is A.J. Brown's post. If you haven't seen it, he posted it 2 days ago now. A.J. Brown's reaction a couple of days removed from being a champion. And some people read it and they're like, yeah, that's my guy. Yeah, just back to work. And I read it from a different perspective. And although that's a wonderful takeaway and it's not wrong, and I'm not shooting that down at all, that's absolutely right. I had that thought as well. But there was I got like a melancholy to it. I got like a little bit of a sadness to it. And not a negative. I'm not saying negative. I'm just saying, like, there's a little sadness to it. We'll read the whole thing, but generally what I got out of it was you work your whole life for this moment. Only to realize there is something that you can accomplish with more consistency, more often throughout your NFL career. And that apparently is the true motivation. Now, I'll say this. I think he was expecting the Super Bowl high to last a little longer. I would expect the Super Bowl high to last a little longer. But all this team's worried about is capitalizing on the opportunity of creating a dynasty. And I know that's, you win one Super Bowl and already you're talking about dynasty. That seems a little premature. And I will say this. I can go back again to that 08 Phillies team and thinking about having a young Chase Utley and Ryan Howard and Cole Hamels and Shane Victorino and having a young core group of players and thinking, this is going to be a dynasty. Like, I remember going up against the Yankees the following year in 2009 and being like, the Yankees don't even know what's going to hit them. This is a dynasty that the Phillies are starting. And then we know how that ended. So I caution anyone that wants to go that way. But I will say this. I have a very similar feeling with this Eagles team that I did, very similar, that I did in 2009, anticipating the Phillies season. Very similar feeling where everything's there. The only thing is with this Eagles team, everything's there. Like with that Phillies team, you still like, okay, you still need more pitching. Still be good. You got to get more pitching. Got to get a little younger in left field. Pat Burrell's probably not going to be back. Raul Ibanez, he's like 90. What? He was an all-star. But this Phillies team still got areas to improve on. This Eagles team, I look at it and I go, well, you got to, okay, Zach Bond. You cannot let Zach Bond go. I would love to see Milton Williams stay. There's a lot of like I looked at. I think it's Pete Prisco of CBS Sports put together his top 100 list of free agents, and let's see. The Eagles have 3 in the top 10. Zach Bond, Milt Williams, and Josh Sweat. All right, Howie, let's get it going, fella. So, yeah, there's a lot of work to do. But when you talk about core, similar to that Phillies team of 2008, yeah, the core is there. Now make sure you keep the rest of this together. So we'll get into AJ Brown's comments a couple of days removed from the Super Bowl. We talked a lot about Coach Doug Nesmeyer going to the New Orleans Saints to possibly be an offensive coordinator for Kellen Moore. Apparently, that's not the case. According to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, Kellen Moore wants to bring Kevin Patullo to New Orleans with him. How about hell no? And if he's going to bring him to New Orleans, that's a good thing that Kellen Moore would want him. It makes me feel a little bit better about the Eagles re-signing him or keeping him here in Philadelphia. Because what does he do? Go to New Orleans and be the OC when he could be the OC here in Philadelphia and call plays? Because I would assume Kellen Moore, who has plenty of play calling experience, is both going to be the head coach and play caller. So Kevin Patullo, what are you going to be doing if you're going to be going into New Orleans? And what's the credit you're going to get if that offense is successful? It won't be. What's the credit you're going to get? And also, you could stick around here and be a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator and then become a head coach somewhere else. I think it would be stupid for Kevin Patullo, the Eagles' current passing game coordinator and associate head coach. It would be stupid for him to go to New Orleans. Now, you could just say, oh, what if they offer him a big old boatload of money? Well, yeah, sure. But he going to get a bigger boatload of money. He'll get yacht-sized money if he sticks around here, wins a Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator, then goes somewhere else. Now, do I want the offensive coordinator position for the Philadelphia Eagles to again? Do I want that to again just be a stepping stone? No. Like I went to Temple, okay? I feel like the head coaching job at Temple ever since I graduated in 2005 has just become a stepping stone to other things. And not so much now. But that's pretty much what it's been. I don't like that. I don't want the offensive coordinator position of the Philadelphia Eagles to be a stepping stone to be a head coach. At least not as quickly as it's been. They need a little staying power. Maybe Kevin Patullo will have a little staying power. Maybe they buy somebody. Maybe they bring somebody in that nobody's ever heard of. Like, let's let him really prove himself. If you come in here and you got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, this offensive line, you're going to look like a damn genius. And to me, that was part of the problem the Eagles actually had when they brought in Brian Johnson as the play caller. I thought there was a lot of arrogance behind that. Like, oh, we got this offense. Yeah, bring in anybody and they'll be fine. That wasn't the case. So they do have to be somewhat careful. I unfortunately feel like we have to get used to the idea of the offensive coordinator position of the Philadelphia Eagles being a stepping stone job now. And hey, Jalen Hurts with all these different all these different play callers, I should say. All these different play callers. Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls in this run. Been to a couple of national title games as well in college. He really needs 2 years in a system. Well, a lot of what they did this year was a lot of what they did in 2022 when they went to the Super Bowl. So you're not that far off. So, like it or not, a lot of this stuff seems to be Nick Sirianni's call, or at least with heavy influence. So at least that's one constant. And if they keep Kevin Patullo here, that's at least somebody that was involved in the passing game, and somebody that Nick Sirianni has been with going back to his days with the Colts. So there's a relationship there. So a lot to get into there. Also, oh, good Lord. The Sixers played yesterday. Remember in Terminator 2, T2, Judgment Day? Remember that? When the T-1000 is T-1000? T-1000's going around looking for John Connor. And he's got that picture. He's like, have you seen this boy? Have you seen Paul George? Paul George had 2 points last night. Tyrese Maxey didn't play. Joel Embiid didn't play. Quentin Grimes And Jared Butler, we're in your starting five. As was Paul George, who shot 1 for 7 from the floor and 0 for 5 from beyond the arc. He did not score in the first half of the game. He did not get points until the third quarter of the game. Now, Maxey wasn't playing. Maxey actually did the same thing the previous night. It was back-to-back against the Raptors. Maxey didn't score at all in the first half, and then he hit, I think it was 2 free throws in the second half. Or no, in the third quarter. Then he hit a 3 towards the end of the game, so he had 5 points. Last night, your boy, Paul George, 1 for 7 from the floor, 0 for 5 from beyond the arc. He had 2 points against the Brooklyn Nets, who are now tied with you for being 2 games behind the Bulls for the final play-in tournament spot. And that's really all I'm hoping for the Sixers. And Paul George last night brought his average for the month in 5 games in February down to 12 points per game. Like they signed Paul George, right? Like, I don't know if it's the knee. I don't know if it's the pinky. I don't know if it's chemistry. I don't know if it's the fact that last night made 33 different starting lineups. 33 different starting lineups for the Sixers. But, oh, my goodness. The Phillies are going to be starting spring training. Where they already, they work out yesterday with pitchers and catchers. But then the spring training schedule is going to be like all we're going to have. Flyers, hopefully they have a little run. Doubt it. The Sixers are going to be a team we're watching. Can I get a little jolt here, Sixers? Like, like a 5-game winning streak could put you in playoff contention, in play-in contention. And really, that's all. Here's my blind optimism for the Sixers. I'll just get this out of the way now. Here's my blind optimism for the Sixers. They've been saving it all for right now. That's my blind optimism for the Sixers. They've been saving it. All right, rest Joel Embiid as much as possible. Paul George, don't push it to the limit. Tyrese Maxey's got this knee contusion now. He's got 7 days to bounce back from it. Here's my blind optimism. They've just been. It's not go time yet in the NBA, as the Heat proved a couple years ago. You could be that play-in tournament team and make it all the way to the finals. Let's go for that. But 12 points per game from Paul George ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean? 16 points per game overall. They did have a fury of a finish, though. Yeah, we'll get to that later. But anyway, all right, let's get into Mic'd Up. First off, again, spoilers for the game that you already watched, but the Mic'd Up episode, an hour long, listening to Patrick Mahomes talk about the game, looking at Andy Reid, watching Andy Reid watch the game, listening to Nick Sirianni on the sideline, listening to Saquon Barkley throughout. Listening to what they were saying to each other. There's a beautiful moment at the end of the whole game and the end of the thing when Howie Roseman and Saquon Barkley are hugging each other, exchanging I love yous, and Howie's telling Saquon, you believed in me. You believed in me. Jalen Hurts and Saquon, this one out. This has already been out on social media, so you've probably seen this already. Jalen Hurts telling Saquon Barkley, like, you don't know what you did. Like, you put us over the top, basically. You're the difference. Like, how awesome is that? And of course, that gets you thinking about some of the over-the-top, put you over-the-top moves in Philadelphia sports history, from Pete Rose and what he did to elevate the 1983 or 1980 Phillies. It goes right there. Moses Malone to elevate the 1982, 1983 76ers. My namesake, Mark Ivoroni, the same thing. No, not on the same level at all. But you think about those acquisitions that were made to put these teams over the top and let them know that you guys should be champions. I wish T.O. could have been that to take it to a championship, but that just wasn't the case. But Saquon Barkley, it deserves to be in that conversation with those 2 other athletes that came here and said, no, guess what? We're going to win. Whether that's Moses or Pete Rose. Saquon Barkley's come in and done the exact same thing. So let's get into it. When it comes to watching this last night, it was absolutely phenomenal. First off, beautiful moments. I know Nick Sirianni has taken heat for moments with his kids. I believe there's a time and a place for it. Apparently, they were allowed on the field pregame. And his son is standing there with, I don't know which one it was, but it was one of his sons standing there with him. And he just said, Daddy, you got this. You got this. and gives him a big hug. Beautiful moment, way to start things off. Oren Burks is on the sideline just talking about nothing but confidence. We got nothing but confidence. I got nothing but confidence. Like, they just seem so ready to go on that Eagles sideline. You have Reed on the other side there for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not Andy Reid. I'm blanking on his name. But he goes out there and he's talking about setting the tone. We're going to set the tone early, like 2 years ago. We're going to set the tone early. And I'm thinking, and you guys knew my mindset going into this game. My mindset was I had to talk myself out, which I did. So it's not my official prediction. I'm not taking credit. I had to talk myself out on the fact that the Eagles were going to dominate this game. I'm like, there's no way they're going to dominate Patrick Mahomes and the experience on that side of the football and Chris Jones and that defensive line. And that defensive line is going to have success against Saquon Barkley. You know, I was like, but I had to talk myself out of 38-10. That's a prediction I should have went with in my gut. But anyway, the minute I heard Reed say that on the sideline, I went, huh, they still think this is 2 years ago. This wasn't 2 years ago. In the first quarter, I loved Saquon Barkley walking around. And what he was doing when he was walking around, he was telling everybody after the pass interference call on A.J. Brown, he was telling everybody to chill. Like, everyone chill. Like, stay in the moment. Stay right here. He kept saying that throughout the game. Stay right here. Jalen Hurts goes around just telling everyone, play your game, play your game. Bond goes over into the huddle when the defense steps on the field for the first time during the first Kansas City possession, and he's just telling everybody how much he loves them. Before the Jahan Dotson touchdown, there was a great moment where Jalen Hurts goes over, or you can hear Jalen Hurts say, come on, Jahan. So he obviously was progression number one. He was the first read on that play, and he takes it down to the goal line. Before the tush push, you hear Jalen Hurts go out there and just say, you know what time it is. Boom, one play, they get into the end zone. Or excuse me, one attempt at the tush push, they get into the end zone. Let me pause it right there. I've seen it come up again where it was 84.3% successful, the tush push. And the conversation has started up again about banning it. This makes zero sense to me. And hey, look, I don't think anyone in Philadelphia can argue keeping the tush push without sounding biased. But this isn't a difficult concept. And when the Eagles played the Dolphins, not this last season, but the season prior, and it was one of their wins that they won by more than 10 points. After the game, Mike McDaniels was addressing the media, and they're like, what do you think about that tush push play? Because they used it a couple of times against them. And he says, I think a lot of people need to credit them for the attention to detail they have on executing that play so well. And that, to me, wasn't a loser mentality of, this isn't fair, nobody could stop it. I think last year it was 93% effective. 93% successful. And this guy had the right take on it. He was like, no, everyone, basically don't banish it. Figure out how to do it. Because if you figure out how to do it, it works really well. But instead, people are like, you got to ban it because nobody can stop it. Well, sorry that Jalen Hurts can squat 600 pounds, bruh. Anyway, all right, resume. They get the tush push touchdown. I love the all-Jalen. This was, talk about top 5 moments. This is one of my top 5 moments. The all-Jalen handshake. They score the touchdown. Eagles score the touchdown. Jalen Hurts goes over to Jalen Carter. They shake hands like they're getting ready to start a business meeting. And Jalen Carter and Jalen Hurts shake hands. And Jalen Hurts says to Jalen Carter, go get it back for me. Go get it back for me. Mahomes suffers the first barrage of pass rush from the Philadelphia Eagles. You see him there sitting on the sidelines. Andy Reid comes over to him concerned. And Patrick Mahomes just says to him, I got this. I'm going to keep my feet under me. We're good. I'm going to keep my feet under me. Going to the second quarter, after the interception that Hurts throws, I wanted to know what happened. Nobody asked him about it after the game. I mean, you're not going to, after you win Super Bowl MVP, you're not going to be like, oh, the interception you threw in the early goes to the second quarter. What happened? Like, that's not going to happen. But he said he tried to get the ball up to, I think it was A.J. Brown in the end zone, and he said he got hit in the chest. That was it. And then he just tells everyone to keep going, keep playing their game. Travis Kelce, after another 3 and out after that interception, goes up to Patrick Mahomes and tells him, I got you 1-5. I got you 1-5. And of course, you're watching this knowing the outcome and be like, oh, he don't got him. He don't got him in this game. Hurts goes over to A.J. Brown with the back shoulder throw. I don't know. I don't even understand my own notes here. But anyway, then Sirianni and BG are counting sacks. That was awesome throughout the game. Cooper DeJean's touchdown. Couple of things. This is definitely on the list, top 5. Cooper DeJean gets the interception, gets the pick 6 on his birthday. Couple of awesome things happen here. One, when they go on the sideline, Saquon Barkley, fellow birthday boy, says to Cooper DeJean playing into the birthday celebration, says to him, that was pretty awesome. You keep that up, you're going to get an even better gift. And it's called the Lombardi Trophy, obviously. And then Zach Bond goes over to Cooper DeJean and says, the way you read that defense and shifted your coverage, that is some veteran stuff, man. Although he didn't say stuff. It gave me chills. I had chills throughout this entire, I had chills for an hour watching this. And believe me, it was a great pick-me-up after watching the Sixers last night. After the pick 6, they catch Andy Reid on the sideline looking up at the scoreboard. And the way I could describe Andy Reid in this moment is disbelief. Complete and utter disbelief. And I didn't even realize it. Mike Quick made the call on WIP. First interception by an Eagle in the Super Bowl ever. Because they didn't pick off Tom Brady. They got the strip sack of Tom Brady. And I'm like, that's pretty incredible. Barkley going over to Quenyon Mitchell after the Cooper DeJean touchdown as well. And just saying, we're staying right here. We're staying right here. I'm gonna say it right here. Barkley, my overall takeaway from watching this hour was what a leader Saquon Barkley was. I said in the open of the show that there was one thing that didn't shock me, but I was a little surprised. Saquon is a huge leader on this football team. Like, as talented as he is just as good a leader, it would seem. Because no matter what happened in this game, no matter how high the Eagles were getting, he was like, hey, we're staying right here. We're staying right here. We're staying in the moment. Stay locked in. Like, throughout the entire game, going over, talking to Cooper DeJean, going over, and for no reason, just goes over to Quenyon Mitchell and tells him, we're staying right here. We're staying right here. Like, he really showed me, watching this hour, that he's all over, where he's on the sidelines telling everyone, stay locked in. Going over the offensive line, stay locked in. Going over the defensive line, stay locked in. Going to the cornerbacks and saying, stay locked in. Like, Saquon Barkley, as great a season as he had, for being a first-year player here in Philadelphia, I mean, this is exactly why you compare him to, like, Moses Malone and Pete Rose. Saying, yeah, no matter how long I've been here, yeah, I'm going to try to fit in with you guys, but I'm also going to do my part. And that's exactly what he was doing throughout the Super Bowl. And I would assume if you rush for 2,000 yards in a season and you buy your offensive line golf carts, I would assume you could have some sway. You could be a leader. And boy, was he. And that's what really stuck out to me throughout this hour, was how much of a leader Saquon Barkley is. So that goes on. Sirianni, after the interception, talking about how we could get excited a little bit. Saquon's telling everyone stay in the moment, and Nick Sirianni's like, we can be excited for a minute. I'm like, that's about the most Nick Sirianni thing you could expect. Bond saying on the sidelines, as I mentioned earlier, that he's going to get one. He's going to get an interception. Very next time he's out there on the football field, he gets the interception. Defensive line. This was a really cool shot. After Bond picks off Patrick Mahomes, they get a shot of the Kansas City Chiefs defensive line. Karlaftis is there. Chris Jones is there, obviously. And they're all looking up at the scoreboard, and they watch the play, and they have this look of shock and disbelief on their faces, and then they grab their helmets and they get up and go back to work. And it was like, yeah, that break wasn't so long there, fellas. Get back in the game. Bond gets the interception. Nicholas Morrow walks up to him and goes, you called that, man. You called that. Barkley's telling everyone to keep going until clock hits 0. A.J. Brown Nick Sirianni, before the A.J. Brown touchdown, says, we got to get this. We got to get this. We got to cash this in, basically. So they get the interception by Zach Bond. A.J. Brown gets the touchdown. He goes over on the sideline. I couldn't see who it was. It was maybe wide receivers coach Aaron Moorhead, hands him a copy of Inner Excellence. And A.J. Brown opens it up, and he's looking at it. And then Nick Sirianni comes into the shot, and A.J. Brown looks up at him and starts smiling and puts the book down. And Nick Sirianni goes, no. Read me a passage. Read me a passage. How do you not love this team? They get the shot of Chris Jones on the sideline right before halftime saying, we got to dig a little deeper. We got to dig a little deeper. Patrick Mahomes is telling everyone, let's do something great together. Let's do something great together. Just before halftime, Eagles are up 24-0. Saquon Barkley, again, on the sideline, saying, stay in the moment. Do not fall for it. Do not fall for it. We stay locked in. They got the shot. I think it was also Reed on the sidelines as well with the Chiefs saying, the Patriots could do it. We could do it. I think that's exactly what Barkley was referencing when he said, don't fall for it. Like, we could be up 24-0. That's Patrick Mahomes over there. That's a Super Bowl champion many times over. We're trying to rob him of a three-peat, certainly. Take away that opportunity. But don't think for a second that he thinks he's out of the game. So stay locked in. Don't fall for it. I thought that was a great message from Saquon Barkley. Sweat comes out. He gets the sack. Sirianni's on the sideline there in the third quarter saying, that's 5. That's 5. Avonte Maddox gets the pass breakup on 4th down, which was such a great play. And Sirianni on the sideline is talking to Kellen Moore, I think it was. And he says, after the pass breakup, we score, it's over. He goes, Nick Sirianni says, we score, it's over. Jalen Hurts drops back to pass, bombs it 46 yards down the middle of the field with his feet straddling I believe it was the 48-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. Bombs it all the way through Chiefs territory into the end zone. While the ball is in the air, A.J. Brown throws his hands up in the air, celebrating already, and it falls into Devontae Smith's hands for the touchdown. And all Jalen Hurts did was this. Jordan Mailata comes over to him. I love it when they doubt you. I love it when they doubt you. Oh, man, it gives you chills. Now, here's what's interesting. During the media circuit, I think it was on CBS this morning with Nate Burleson, right? I think it was CBS this morning. Yeah. Jalen Hurts revealed that they had not converted that play in practice. And he said Devontae Smith was sick. The flu or this, an illness was running through the Eagles locker room. So Jalen Hurts tells, I think it was Nate Burleson. He's like, yeah, we converted on that play, but we didn't convert in practice. Devontae Smith was sick. And what was interesting about it, look, this is not a criticism at all. But the throw, Devontae Smith had to reach back just a little. It wasn't drastically underthrown or anything, but he had to reach back a little bit. And I'm like, I wonder if the adrenaline of the game threw that timing off just by that much because they hadn't converted in practice. And Devontae Smith gets into the game, adrenaline rush, beats the brakes off the defensive back. I think it was Watson. Just takes off like a gazelle. And they still convert the play and they make it happen. But I was like, oh, that's still interesting that he allowed that insight. So maybe the timing was thrown off just by a hair instead of that ball being aired out and Devontae being able to run under it and try to reach back a little bit for it. Just that hinted at what Jalen Hurts said about the play, that they hadn't converted on it in practice. But a beautiful throw, a beautiful play. And the fact that Nick Sirianni is on the sideline of this game in the third quarter saying, we score here, it's over. We score here, it's over. Just call it. That was the quote. Just call it. They called it. Next thing you know, bing, bang, boom. Barkley going over to Smitty after his touchdown saying, in the crib, in the crib. Mahomes, the first touchdown of the game for the Chiefs really pissed me off because you can't convince me that wasn't a forward lateral. And I like that they actually paid attention to it during mic'd up because I got Nick Sirianni saying, is he over the line? Is he over the line? Is he over the line? He goes over to the sideline officially over the line. Like, they're saying he's not over the line. All right, they're saying he's not over the line. Like, where's your guys in your headset watching the replay going, he's probably over the line because I think he was over the line. And then on the touchdown pass to Worthy, but it was Worthy. Yeah, on the touchdown pass to Worthy, Brandon Graham's getting held, and that's a no call. So the Chiefs gave him 2 calls on that play in my mind, and that led to the first touchdown, which pissed me off because then all of a sudden it was no longer a shutout. Barkley talking about how good the Chiefs defensive line is playing on the sideline. That was pretty cool because they were. I mean, he ran the ball 25 times. I thought it was also interesting. I think it was Jamel Singleton that went over to him and said, let's not, your numbers might not be there today, but let's not forget about what an impact you have on this game. Like, look, they still have to stop you. They're putting all their eggs in one basket of stopping 26, hoping Jalen Hurts doesn't beat them. And unfortunately, Jalen Hurts beat him. Milton Williams getting his sack, and fumble, going over to the sidelines and doing belt to ass. I love that belt to ass became a thing in this game. It was so great. Zach Bond pointing out to Reed Blankenship on the sideline, 30% pressure rate with 0 blitzes. He's like, yeah, we didn't blitz, man. Patrick Mahomes saying we'll be back here midway through the fourth quarter. We'll be back here. We'll be back here. Hurts just saying it ain't over till the fat lady sings. And this is what takes the taco for me. This was my favorite part. Now, all throughout, I mentioned that Saquon Barkley's leadership really stuck out to me throughout. But if there was one part that I had to say was my favorite part, when there's the final horn sounds, just before you see Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts embrace, and Jalen Hurts is telling Saquon what a difference he made on this team. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are talking about the ups and downs of the season or their relationship, maybe. I don't know. But how great it is to win this Super Bowl. Devontae Smith crying on the sidelines, telling Jalen Hurts how much he loves him. It was pretty amazing. And then the final horn goes off. And Jalen Hurts is running across the field to hug Patrick Mahomes, and they did. But one of the PR people for the Eagles says he pats Jalen on the back, and he says to Jalen, Super Bowl MVP, man. Super Bowl MVP. And Jalen, not in a rude way by any means to the PR person, but in a what I really care about way to the PR person, says, PR person goes, Super Bowl MVP. Super Bowl MVP. And Jalen goes, Super Bowl champ. And I'm like, that's there you go. And everything you've heard from Jalen Hurts really throughout his entire career, and now obviously in doing the media circuit and doing the media tour, everything he has talked about, he has been about. And as I've been saying for the last couple of days, even last week, like, I don't know how you don't love this guy. And now with you when you're a Super Bowl champion, I saw some people, Josh Sweat should have been the MVP. Do you watch football much? Like, it's all about the big sexy. It's all about the quarterback. And Josh Sweat had 2.5 sacks. Jalen Hurts had 3 touchdowns. I'm going to go ahead and go with the guy with 3 touchdowns. Barkley saying before Jalen Hurts told him, you understand the difference that you made? You were the last piece. Barkley says to Jalen Hurts, you're going to smile now? Is Jalen Hurts actually going to smile? And then this was pretty awesome as well. Jeffrey Lurie going up to Saquon Barkley. I've mentioned, I don't think there's ever been anything better said about an athlete from an owner to a player that plays for him than when Jeffrey Lurie and the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts were working on a contract extension. Jeffrey Lurie said, I don't think I've ever been around an athlete with such a tremendous dedication to perfection than Jalen Hurts. I was like, that's the best thing that's ever been said about a Philadelphia athlete by an owner. And here it has come to fruition. Well, Jeffrey Lurie went up to Saquon Barkley after the Super Bowl, and he said, "You are the epitome of everything I believe in. You are the epitome of everything I believe in." Top 5 moments for me. Definitely Jalen Hurts saying, kind of brushing off Super Bowl MVP for Super Bowl champion. Cooper DeJean's exchange after the interception of the pick 6 with Saquon Barkley and Zach Bond. Saquon Barkley throughout with his leadership, how great that was. And Nick Sirianni saying, "We score here, we win. Just call it." Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing throughout. And I think I listed every honorable mention. But anyway, it was awesome. I mean, I just told you just about everything from it, but you got to experience it if you haven't seen it yet. And who knows, maybe you don't even have NFL Network. I don't know. But, wow. It really took you in. It really took you in into the weeds of the game. It was pretty great, as you would expect. There was one moment, though, earlier in the day where I got a chance to read A.J. Brown's excuse me, comment that he posted on Instagram. I saw it on Twitter originally, then went to his Insta and read it. And it said, after a few days, I've had time to reflect on being a champion. I tried to feel how everyone made it seem to be a champion. And unfortunately, it was short-lived. 2 days, to be exact, laugh out loud. I'd never been a champion at the highest level before, but I thought my hard work would be justified by winning it all. It wasn't. My thrill for this game comes when I dominate. It's the hunt that does it for me. It's when a defensive back drops his head and surrenders because he can't F with me. The intense battles, early mornings, late nights, sacrifices. I love putting smiles on people's faces. Don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't what I thought it would be. It's the journey that I love. It's the journey that I love the most. Back, all caps, to work. Don't get me wrong, this is awesome. I love this. But imagine working as hard as you have worked to be a professional athlete your whole life. And then you get to the mountaintop. And then you look around. And you go, all right, well, I guess I did that. like this was the guy that after the Super Bowl, one of the things that he said was world champion for life. Like world champion, Super Bowl champion, A.J. Brown. Super Bowl champion goes before my name for the rest of my life. And I remember thinking, what a great, yes, you can't, nobody can take that away from you. That's always going to be there. And then 2 days later, it's like, nah, let's get back to work. But there's a little bit of a sadness to it because, yeah, he went through the euphoria and he said it lasted 2 days, but he just wants to do it again. And I have zero doubt in my mind when he's burning defensive backs next year, he's going to be reminded of, how great the journey is. And everyone always talks about, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And it's not the destination and just the journey, but it's the company in which you keep during the journey. I have no doubt in my mind that while he's going through another journey next year, he's going to be thinking about how great those 2 days were. And how 2-time Super Bowl champion A.J. Brown, how much better that sounds than just Super Bowl champion. I mean, why not go for multiple? You know what I'm saying? I saw Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Lions say that he wants the Eagles and Lions to face off to start next season. Hey, I'm for it. Started off with a bang. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Do I even need to get into the Sixers? I don't think I need to get into the Sixers. Hey, let me tell you about the great people at the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARZI, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game? Want to go to the concert? Want to go to the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. Go to Disney on Ice, like I am on Saturday. Thank you again for your wonderful advice, everybody. Game Time app has you covered. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARS to get $20 off your first purchase. Game, concert, comedy show, Game Time app. What time is it? Game time. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how wonderful people are doing on this fine Thursday morning ahead of the parade. April, good morning. Why Niners Wine? April, dealer time straight up, absolutely. Tate, what's up, Tate? They won't sell key cards on regional rails either. Have to buy them today. Go Birds. Thank you for that. Sean Kilrain, good morning. TM, banquet tour. I can deal with a banquet tour that is the week after the Super Bowl. I can't deal with a banquet tour that is all 6 months of the offseason. When I think banquet tour, I think Cole Hamels, and I think of sucking the next year. I think Jalen Hurts is way too focused for it. Jason A saying, good morning, champs. Good morning, Jason A. Sean Gillespie, good morning. Luke's dad. Hi, Luke's dad. When will the mic'd up version of the game come out for everyone to watch? It came out last night. I don't know if it's on YouTube or not, but I'm sure parts of it are. Dynasty season, says Real RMP. I'm with you. Sean Gillespie, if only we can hold on to a good offensive coordinator. I know, right? Oh, Tim, were you and I on the same page here? Temple's head coach? I know I said that as well before I looked at the comments, but you and I are on the same page. Sean Gillespie, hello again. Hopefully Eagles management doesn't evolve into Jerry Jones-like proportions. I would doubt it. So done with the Sixers, says Jason A. Disgusting to watch, right? Saw this. Would you sign him? Dre Greenlaw is expected to leave the team in the offseason. Big Dom would have to approve. Was it Dre Greenlaw or Trey Greenlaw? I don't remember. Greenlaw reportedly wants to take that linebacker one role. Just all I'm concerned about is just keep Zach Bond, please. Michael Mulvey, do you think there'll be parking lots open in Penn's Landing? That's a great question. I don't know. Sean Gillespie, Sirianni is now being copied by Emperor Elon now with bringing your kids to press conferences. I saw that. Michael Mulvey, let's just call it a quarterback sneak and say if they want. Oh, and see if they want to ban it. Yeah, Jalen Hurts calls it a QB sneak, apparently. Bradbury and Barkley are now Super Bowl champions. Thanks, Giants. That's funny. Love Saquon more and more. Was definitely scared of a miraculous, heartbreaking comeback. Yeah. Aware. I would say aware. Yeah. AJ didn't have hope while he was a Titan. Trade changed his life, pretty much. April, AJ's about chasing that high. That's a good point. Amon-Ra is another wide receiver a la Jamar Chase that is a step below A.J. Brown, product of scheme, a system wide receiver, if you will, cannot go body and humiliate all-pro DBs like A.J. does all the time. Yeah, I think that's fair. Sweat had 3. I thought he had 2.5. Williams 6, Bond 10, Becton. Quarterback's top. Oh, their numbers. Thank you. Josh Sweat was number 3. Williams was number 6. Bond was number 10. Becton was number 9. Quarterbacks, top 100 free agents. Oh, CBS. Jesus. CBS, not cornerbacks. That's funny. CBS top 100. Yeah. So three Eagles in the top 5 or top 10, excuse me. That's bonkers. Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. Hey, congratulations. The Sixers are off for a week, so we don't have to deal with that. The Flyers are off for a long time as well. Parade tomorrow. I will be doing my show tomorrow morning, and then I'll be scurrying on down to the city to shoot as much content as possible to put together beautiful pieces of content for you wonderful people, taking you inside the parade. It's like going to be mic'd up, but parade people. You know what I mean? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's wonderful to have you along for the ride.
Well, that's pretty dope.
I will see you guys tomorrow morning ahead of the parade. Hit like and subscribe on the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe on the Jacob Media YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel as well, where yours truly brings you your Sixers postcasts and soon to be, before we know it, your Phillies postcast as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Mark Barzett. Have a great rest of your day. See you later.